We are living through one of the most consequential moments in human history. That is not a rhetorical flourish. It is a measurable, documented reality. The speed of technological change, the concentration of wealth, the erosion of democratic norms, the fracturing of the rules-based international order, all of it is accelerating simultaneously. I wrote this book, Money, It's All About Money. It should be about morality, to make sense of how we arrived here, and to ask a question that too few of our institutions are willing to ask. What kind of world do we actually want to build? Since I completed this book, events have moved with extraordinary speed, confirming what I warned about. The pace of change has not slowed. At the core of my book is a single brutal observation. Our global economic system is not distributing its extraordinary productivity to the people who generate it. The top 1% of the world's adult population hold 46% of global wealth. The bottom 50% share less than 2%. I ask you to confront not merely the statistics, but the moral failure they represent. This is not an accident of markets. It is the cumulative consequence of choices, political choices, legislative choices, choices about whose interests are protected and whose are not. Since publication, the evidence has only sharpened. Billionaire wealth reached a record $18.3 trillion in 2025. Meanwhile, 1 in 4 people globally faces food insecurity. As I anticipated, this is not convergence, it is capture. I trace a deeply troubling pattern. The concentration of wealth has not remained in the economic sphere. It has migrated into the political sphere. Wealthy elites fund politicians, acquire media platforms, and shape the legislative environment in ways that compound their own advantage. This is not conspiracy. It is a structural consequence of unregulated power, and the consequences for democracy are severe. Democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires a moral commitment, a commitment to the we, not merely the I. My concern was prescient. For the first time since 2002, autocracies now outnumber democracies in the world, 91 to 88. Global internet freedom has declined for 15 consecutive years. My central warning that extreme wealth and functioning democracy cannot coexist is now a live empirical observation. I situate all of this within a larger technological transformation. We have moved through 3 industrial revolutions. The third revolution has already concentrated extraordinary power in the hands of corporate actors whose market capitalization rivals the GDP of entire G7 nations. But I argue we are now on the threshold of a 4th revolution, the era of artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and space exploration. The question I pose is urgent. Who will own the fruits of this next revolution? Will its benefits flow to humanity broadly? Or will history repeat itself with fabulous new wealth accruing to a few hundred individuals who happen to hold the relevant patents and launch contracts? Artificial intelligence has moved faster even than I anticipated. The race I described is not approaching, it has begun. What distinguishes my book is my insistence on an explicitly moral frame. I am making an ethical claim that the world's current distribution of wealth, power, and opportunity is wrong, not merely inefficient, but morally indefensible. Drawing on philosophy from Socrates to Kant, I call for a reinstatement of ethical discourse at the center of public life, not as an academic exercise, but as a civilizational necessity. As I argue, the gap between what we can do and what we should do has never been wider. The question I pose is not abstract. What do we owe each other? What is our shared responsibility toward the entirety of society? I do not traffic in despair. Ultimately, my work is one of serious moral optimism, the belief that genuine change is possible. I offer specific proposals on wealth redistribution, on the reform of democratic institutions, on education as a universal right. These are achievable policy directions, but they require the political will to ask not what is good for me, but what is good for all of us. What is good for the we, and not merely the I. If the systems we have inherited cannot answer that, then I argue it falls to us to build the systems that can. Money, it's all about money. It should be about morality is available now. I hope it provokes the conversations our moment demands.